When it comes to EDC, we quite often go on about how practical the gear we're carrying is, and it doesn't matter what it looks like, when really, we're a bunch of nerds. We quite often like to carry things that aren't actually that practical, purely because it fits the aesthetic of the knife we're carrying on that specific day. So what I've decided to do is put together an EDC loadout that is completely color coordinated, fully blacked out, looks insane, but also minimal, very practical, UK legal, so you can carry it here with no questions asked, and there's no bullshit with it. Everything has its place, everything has its use case, and it all works really well together as one nice everyday carry. You may have also noticed, if you're a regular viewer, that we're in a new studio. It's a work in progress, and as you can see, I'm currently sat on some wheels because I don't actually have everything in place yet. But we'll have something looking good here soon, lots of different angles and plenty of shit going on to film these videos. But that's what we're talking about today. What we're talking about, like I said, is this beautiful blacked out UK legal EDC. To kick things off, we'll get started with the pocket knife I decided to put into this carry. Now, I had two knives in mind when putting this carry together. The first one that came to my mind, I kind of changed my mind on. You could carry both. Use the first one that I'm going to talk about as sort of like your multi-tool, because it does double up as a multi-tool, and more of like a beater blade that you can get dirty and not have to worry about as much, and then keep the other knife as your main knife for cleaner tasks, say. So the first knife that we're going to talk about is the James brand Ellis. Now, the reason that this came to my mind, like I said, is it doubles up as a multi-tool. So not only is it actually a very good practical pocket knife, but it also has multiple use cases with the other tools on there, which is fantastic and not something you always get out of a multi-tool. On here, what we have is a slightly under 3-inch blade, so it sticks within the UK legal laws, and it is a slip joint as well, meaning it's non-lock-in, so you can carry this in public with no questions asked. The reason that I changed my mind on this is because that part serration on the bottom end of the blade, and for me, I don't need that. I've never in my life really come across a scenario where I've been like, right, I really need a serration on this blade now. The blade steel on this is 12C27. It's not your most high-end steel in the world, but not the worst in the world. It's sort of like a middle ground, and where it is in that sort of middle ground, it won't hold the edge as well as something like M390, but equally, this is a much easier blade steel to maintain and sharpen back up when it does dull. Next to your blade, you have a very good, very practical set of scissors. I'd say they're easily on par with what you get on like a Swiss Army knife, only these actually feel nicer to use because, as you can see at the back of this, where you would be pressing down on the scissors to cut things, there's like a flattened edge with some jimping on. That's not something you get on a Victorinox scissors. They're kind of just, they don't do anything to it. It's just there. And after a while, if you're cutting something that's a little bit tougher than cardboard or paper, it can kind of dig into your thumb and get a little bit uncomfortable. So having this flattened edge here, just to give a little bit more surface area for your thumb to sit on, makes it a lot more comfortable for cutting tasks. And then at the back of this knife, you can see this extra little nubbin, let's call it. So this has multiple use cases. Obviously, it can be used as a lanyard loop, but the flat edge on it, you can use as a very, very practical flathead screwdriver. Say, for someone like me doing photography and stuff, screwing tripod plates on or just anything with a flathead. Use the corner of it to get into little Phillips head screws. You can do that in a pinch. They're not obviously that practical for it, but it can be done with the right amount of pressure. And then it can also be used as a prying tool for certain prying tasks and also as a scraper. It's going for £110 more or less, so it is quite expensive, but it's the James brand. They're known for higher prices and the quality of the product is very, very good. Now, the second knife that came to mind, and what is actually the main knife in this carry for me, is the Twisted Assisted Mini Dundee. This is a fantastic little pocket knife, a 2.8-inch blade made out of D2 blade steel, which is a blade steel that I'd kind of forgotten about. I don't actually have many blades with a D2 steel anymore, and I've forgotten how good it is. I've used this pretty much every day now for a few weeks for most tasks, and it is still razor sharp. G10 scales, don't need to say much more about that. And then just a nice little steel deep carry pocket clip. This sits really nice and low in the pocket where it's all black. If you've got black jeans on or dark coloured clothes, just blends in, and no one's really going to be able to tell that you've got a knife in your pocket. For deployment on this, we have a flipper tab. The action is fantastic, where it's on a double detent mechanism, means that you can have a very, very fidgety knife here. Does mean that you're sacrificing some of the safety, because the double detent mechanisms don't hold the knife open as good as a slip joint would. So in terms of safety, the James brand knife is a much more safe, practical knife to use over this one. But for general day-to-day tasks, light use, you're not going to have a trouble with this folding up on you. You will be fine. It does also have this little nail nick in either side of the blade with a little cutout in the scales. I assume if you've got little tiny fingers, you could probably spidey flick this, or maybe get your thumbnail in there to be able to thumb flip it. I can't personally do that. My hands are a bit too big. But what you can also do with this is where the nail nick is on both sides and that cutout is on both sides, it's kind of like an extra precaution for being here in the UK. People are scared of knives. So if you're getting your knife out and just deploying it with a flipper, people will go, oh, fuck, there's a knife. Whereas if you just get it out of your pocket nice and quietly, you can use this nail nick just to nicely two-hand deploy this knife. Do what you need to do. Fold it up nice and civilized, like a nice civilized human, and no one will question you. So I think that is just a nice little precaution just to be nice and quiet about having your knife. It's ambidextrous. The pocket clip can be flipped to either side, and obviously where it doesn't lock, you haven't got to worry about a liner lock being on the wrong side or like a button being on the wrong side. It's just left or right-handed. It works exactly the same. These go for around the £50 mark. You can pick them up from Heine Haynes. I will link it below along with everything else from this video. Moving on to the wallet that I chose for this carry, and what I chose is the Bison Leatherworks Inoa wallet. I think that's how you say it, Inoa. Inoa, I don't know. Either way, this wallet is brilliant. It's quite large, so it is a bit bigger than what I normally like to carry, but with that comes extra capability. It's said to be able to hold up to 10 cards with a bit of cash and maybe a couple of coins if you fancy it, so you can fit a lot in here. It's a really nice, supple leather. The leather of choice for this wallet is a Walloper Pueblo leather. If you know anything about that, I don't. I just read it from the website. The way it works is you have this, essentially what looks like your normal sort of card sleeve, but with an extra piece of leather wrapped around that comes over the top and tucks in to keep everything nice and secure inside the wallet. You've got a little front pocket here, which is where that little flap comes over and tucks into. You can actually fit a card or two into here with that flap going in there. In the middle, you've got a very, very big, deep pocket. I guess this is where you could keep coins, or you could put cash in there, or like 6 cards easily. Behind there, you have another little slot, which you could fit more cards in. And then behind there again, you've got where the extra piece of leather with the flap to keep things secure is. You've got a place where you could probably put cash just for quick access, or you could have a card there for quick access, up to you. So yes, it's a bit bigger than most of the wallets that I would like to carry, but at the same time, it's not that big for how practical this wallet is. This is a very, very nice wallet, and I would highly recommend it to anyone that needs something that they can fit a little bit more than general in. These are handmade in Germany, I believe, and they go for £58 or dollars or whatever your currency is. When it came to tools for this carry, I didn't really know what I wanted to put in it. For me, I like to carry pliers, so it was a no-brainer to add the Knipex Cobra XS into this carry. They're black, and they are absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to go too far into them because I've spoken about them a lot recently. But then, obviously, we've got that James brand Ellis in this carry. That was an option. So for me, I was like, I'll carry the James brand Ellis in the back pocket alongside the Knipex Cobras. You could get like a little leather organizer to be able to keep these in, or have like, say, like the Artco Boulder wallet. You could stick both of these tools in there and use it as a wallet at the exact same time, and then compact the carry down even more. I just didn't want to do that for this carry, so I just keep the Knipex in my pocket alongside the James brand Ellis, and that is essentially my multi-tool and my pliers for this carry. For a pen, I went for the old trusty Bastion bolt action pen. It's a pen that I haven't actually spoken about all that much in like the last year or so, but for a while I carried it a lot, and it is a great pen, and I'm so glad that I've started carrying it again. It's made out of aluminium. It's a full-size pen. It writes really, really nicely. The bolt action works brilliantly. And the one thing that I really like about the bolt action on this pen is the fact that most of them, say like the Big Idea Design mini bolt action pen that I talk about a lot, it just goes down and across and it's not really locked into place. Whereas the Bastion one, it goes down and across, and then it's got a little nick so it goes up, so it can't just be pressed by accident and like close up on itself while you're mid-sentence. So that is a really nice feature on this pen. I'm not sure exactly what refills this can take, but I think it can take like Parker refills and like most of your general refills. Might just be something to look into before you buy it, because I don't know, and I can't be fucked to go and look on the computer right now. I just really like this pen. So that's why it's in this carry. And these are currently going for around £28 to £30. So it's an absolute steal for a pen that is this good. On to keys. So my keys and my torch are generally one setup as it is. You'll know that if you're a regular viewer to this channel, the only flashlight that I've really carried for the last like 2 years is the Olight iMini 2, just because it is absolutely fantastic. It's so practical. I keep it on my keys, and where it is just purely magnetic, you can just grab it off your keys and it turns on one light setting, 50 lumens, does exactly what you need it to do for like 99% of daily tasks. And where it is just on my keys anyway, like I'd have to worry about having an extra torch in my pocket or something like that. So it's just like, it's extra stuff to worry about. So I keep it on my keys. And that was my thought going into this EDC, was I need a torch that I can keep on these keys. Olight do actually make a black version of the iMini 2. So if that's something that you fancy getting, I will leave that link down below. I just didn't want to use that for this carry. I fancy trying something different. And what I went for in this instance is the Olight i3E. This is a brilliant little keychain flashlight or torch, whatever you want to call it. AAA powered, so when it dies, you haven't got to worry about plugging it in and waiting 2 hours for it to charge up. Just unscrew it, put a new battery in, and you're good to go. Again, like the iMini, this has one light mode. To access it, you just twist the front, gives you a 90 lumen beam, twist it to turn it off, and you're good to go. Nice and simple, nice and lightweight, and it only costs £10. So it's an absolute steal. Even if you don't want to carry it on your keys every single day, it's worth keeping it somewhere, like keep it in like the cup holder in your car, just for like when your kid drops something under the seat, you can get down and have a look nice and easy and not have to worry about something big and bulky or getting something out of your pocket. It's just a nice little small flashlight, kind of like a toy, and I actually really, really rate it. That is sitting on my key carabiner for this carry, which is the Key Unity carabiner. Can't remember exactly what model it is because they don't give them actual names. It's kind of like code numbers, but it's a titanium gated carabiner. So when you pull it open, you slip your keys down the bottom here and you're not going to have your keys falling off there because of the way it is shaped. Got a bottle opener on the back, but this is fantastic as a just daily carabiner for your keys. And then for key storage, because we wanted to go blackout, you don't want silver and brass keys hanging everywhere, just ruining the vibe, do you? So what I decided to go for was the Key Smart Flexi Key Organizer. It's just a key organizer that is black that you put your keys in, and then when you need a specific key, you just flip it out, use that key, and then fold it back in, and it all goes into one nice little slim form factor package. Doesn't make any sound when it's shaking, so when it's on your keychain, it's literally just gonna like flop around and not jangle. You don't sound like a janitor, which is fantastic. And it's great because you can add extra little bits into this Key Smart organizer, like this Key Smart little tool. On one end, it's got a Phillips head screwdriver, which is always helpful. You've got like a package opener or like seatbelt cutter, a prying tool / flathead, and it's got a few little ruler markings on it up to about 5 centimeters, which is kind of useless unless you want to measure your penis. For key organization as a whole, these are fantastic. I like anything that stops your keys making loads of noise. So that is what I decided to carry as my key setup. All in, we've got the Key Unity carabiner, the Key Smart Flexi Key Organizer, and the Olight i3E. That just clips onto my belt, doesn't dangle too low down, so it's not in the way, keeps everything organized, and does exactly what I need it to do. And that is my Blackout UK Legal EDC. Simple, practical, and does exactly what I need it to day without drawing any attention to me whatsoever. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below what you thought. Let me know if there's any products that you've got or that you know of that you could recommend to me that might even upgrade this carry further. If you did like it, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already for more EDC content. There's plenty more on the way. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.